quite have it. No. I think leave that in.
I apologize for, you know.
Oh, we're not.
Casual.
Hello, how you doing? Nice to see you again. Yeah, yeah, how you been?
Wow. Perfect, then you think it's gonna go.
So how's it been so far?
Yeah.
Probably a whirlwind.
Yeah, but I love it.
That's good.
I love every minute of it.
Good.
Good slide.
Thank you for doing the good work.
Trying,
Yeah.
trying.
I almost texted you yesterday to see if you recreated that. Wait, that's so great.
Kelvin's Laura. Oh, Scott too. What? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're listening to Kelvin. Peter, is Scott not coming today?
Scott's not gonna be here today.
Oh.
No,
Calvin should, I had a.
we should have Calvin and we should have,
Kelvin's coming?
Yes.
Yeah.
everybody else should be here.
Laura, okay.
Well, I haven't heard from Laura, but I haven't heard from Laura. So that's gonna be.
Oh, boy.
Hey Doug, how are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, no, so Grand Rapids is not my territory also.
Oops. It's already 4:00.
Like-
Should we wait another minute then?
I'm trying
That's
to.
before, if you wanna start. I typically they're here, but it's, you know,
Two others.
we gotta move.
They do.
He doesn't play. Let's give everybody 30 more seconds, all right? Just 30 more seconds.
Running it.
Yeah, it's good. I just want to give everybody some time.
Grace is
Four,
good.
yeah.
Community development for a state.
Might be traffic out there, Peter.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, hey, Tony, if you could help me, or if everybody could help me, we have a new person doing minutes, so if you make a motion, if you could recognize the person, just say like motion by so-and-so.
Okay.
If you could read that to the record, it'd be helpful.
All right, well, we'll get going. All right, call to order at 4:02 today. Welcome, everyone. All right, so we'll start with the roll call. Supervisor Brewer.
Present.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
You.
Awesome.
Yeah, the chairperson Tony McGaldy here, vice chair Scott Berman, not here. Secretary Rachel Azinga,
Here.
right, Peggy Van Payne,
Here.
Kelvin Jones.
Right
Kelvin
after.
Jones. Kelvin Jones, here, okay.
Try this again.
I said, what did I say? Give me 30 seconds.
You were right.
I love it. Well, how you doing? Perfect timing. You're perfect. Bill DeBose
Here.
and Lord Miller, not here. All right, so everybody received the agenda. Any questions or comments on the agenda? If not, I move to approve the agenda.
Support. Elsinga.
I'll say thank you.
Pause.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. Any public comments? Don't see anybody coming to the, all right. So with that said, everybody should have received the minutes. We did not have a meeting in January. We had one in December.
Right.
On December 9th. So just make that note. Any comments related to the meeting minutes from anyone? All right, no comments. I move to approve the meeting minutes from December 9th, 2024.
Support. Peggy Von Payne.
Thank you.
I love it. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. Very good. So old items of business. I think at this point in the game, I think everybody's aware, we had our kickoff on December 18th with MDOT. We had a meeting here at the township with the county, township, with some folks on the board. Myself, I should say, Brian, Peter, and Doug was there as well. I guess with that Peter, Brian, I was gonna turn it over to you. I have not seen any meeting notes or any updates related to that initial meeting. Is there anything from your end that you've heard or no?
No, I think this group met after we, or before that meeting, so we might as well just give a brief recap of that meeting. It's very brief.
Okay,
So we met that second or third week of December, and it was a whole group of people. I can go through the.
Should say,
Go ahead.
local advisory. Group.
Right.
So if you remember for the MDOT project, so they created a local advisory group. So we have representatives from this board, representatives from our township board, staff, Doug, as Peter mentioned, but then several other stakeholders.
I was gonna run through some of those.
Yeah, if you could.
So it's Brian and I, we have our fire chief, our township engineer, so the board voted to appoint Dennis Vigoa, the township treasurer, to serve on the group. He was not at that meeting, but he's gonna be at future ones. Chair Magali, Mark Mudry, who's a planning commission rep, but also Eaton County Commissioner, I think for District 5. So it's not his project area, but it made sense being on the planning commission and also being the commissioner. And then Jeannie Pearl Wright, who's also an Eaton County Commissioner, now the south side of West Saginaw, west of the highway is her district. So
Great.
that makes sense. And then I just did talk to Chris Arndt today. And he is gonna be at the next, well, he says he's gonna be at the next meeting, then he participate in the process. He's the newly elected rep from District 2, which is the north side of West Saginaw, west of the highway. So we have both our county commissioners in the mix there. And some Eaton County, so the rep from Eaton County Sheriffs, we've got Eaton County Road Department or Commission in play. A rep from CATA, a rep from the Tri-County Bicycling Association. To mention the Eaton County folks, we had someone from Lansing Board of Water and Light, so we had specific staff assigned by their superiors at Lansing Board of Water and Light and consumers to have in the room, so they were both present. And that's it. So it's a big, small group for this kind of thing. It was good there. I mean, my personal recap of the meeting was there wasn't really a lot of substance to it. I mean, that's just the way it was. So it was more of a, hey, everybody, let's meet, talk big picture scoping. They talked generally kind of what their project timeline is. It's very similar to the very introductory meeting that Brian and I had with MDOT staff out at the airport. So really high level stuff. There is another meeting scheduled now for Wednesday, February 26th. So what I understand so far, at least preliminarily, is they're gonna get into some traffic counts and some crash data stuff and more of that, but are really no further along in terms of design or anything on the project. So there's no real meat for us to sink our teeth into yet. At least from a consultant perspective and design perspective. Anyone have any other thoughts that I missed?
is that
Anything valuable?
did you get the appointment? Did you send the appointment out?
I did, well, I sent a preliminary one, just a
Preliminary,
placeholder.
okay.
They have not, they said that
Okay,
they're gonna send an official invite out, but I wanted to get it on your radar,
thank you.
like our radar first, and then
What time is that supposed to be? Do
I
you
think it's
remember?
10 AM on the 26th.
Okay,
Yeah, you should have a calendar
thank you.
entry for it already.
I remember, I mean, it might be running behind, but it was a pretty aggressive schedule. I thought they were gonna have direction.
There it
pretty
is.
much. I think the study report was done higher, early August, if I remember correctly. So there will be at least one public meeting, and they had to be well timelined out.
That was my concern, Doug, was they're trying to do all this in 6 months,
Yes.
all this preliminary work. And I believe they were gonna try to have 2 public meetings, one initial one, right?
Yeah.
And then like a follow-up one later this summer.
Mhm.
My concern would be, depending on how many people you get at that first meeting, you may need a third public meeting to sort of put a bow around things. So just something to consider. Maybe something we can throw out to MDOT just as a precaution.
And yeah, I agree. And then it'll be interesting to see what they come up with, because, and they pretty much, the, boulevard footprint, keep the grant money. So they say it's a study and they're open-minded, but they not going to be as open-minded as what we would like to see or options, otherwise they're gonna lose grant.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of a big deal. They were asking, I know, if I remember right, Brian, here you can, they were asking for the township's help for anything from it. Right away possibility, acquisition, access management thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge for us with this local advisory group is they're asking for, ideas and that type of
Mhm.
thing, but they are pretty limited in terms of budget and space in that, section of road where it's gonna be, I don't think it's as empty of a palette as they are kind of making it seem. They're very limited in space for what they can do and keeping keeping the boulevard concept. So I think that's gonna be a challenge, and trying to figure out what we can get included in the design and what we can, push for, is gonna be, I think, critical to figure out where that threshold is.
So there hasn't been any additional asks or anything?
No,
That's sort of,
Nothing shared with us.
no, so they were gonna meet in January, that didn't happen.
yeah,
And then now this meeting at the end of February. So it's either gonna have to be a meeting that has a lot of substance or we might be behind. Or, well, let me turn this around. They might be behind. We're doing fine.
All right, there we go.
yeah, it seems like at some point, there's gonna be an ask.
You know it.
Yeah,
You know it's coming.
it's coming, right?
They're gonna want, yeah,
Right, and
it's lost time, it'll be our problem, not theirs.
Yes.
I just got a text for folks online. It's hard to hear you, Doug.
Oh, sorry.
So if you don't mind going,
Yeah.
either going to the podium or taking that extra seat with the mic, just so we can have comments on.
Left my dress shoes in the office, I don't like wearing them, so I had my tennis shoes on, and I'm like, oh, shoot.
There's only 4,000 or 5,000 people online.
Yeah.
Just make it-
Can you repeat everything you just said?
Yeah.
Maybe do a song and dance.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, we can characterize what you said in the minutes. I don't think that'll be hard. Not a lot of updates.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just like, again, the feedback regarding the schedule, I would just note that I think that is gonna be pretty aggressive. Depending on how we get the stakeholders out to the meeting, I think the meeting will be here, right? Most likely?
That's what we would push for.
Yeah.
I know my plan is to supplement whatever outreach that MDOT is doing and, do whatever they're gonna do plus.
Plus, okay,
So when that opportunity comes along, I'll have a better idea, but I mean, whether that's direct, whatever that entails, whether it's direct mail, knocking on doors, whatever we gotta do to get people out. The scope of the project, I don't know about you guys, but like the scope of the project is sinking in for me, as a driver, as a whatever.
yeah, it's a big
It's
undertaking.
incredible. So whatever we can do to manage that process and help people, I realize that it's not really the township's project, but I think we can help bridge that gap.
I know, just to recap, right, that is from Broadbent to the highway to 96.
Correct. I think it's actually a block past.
Yeah, it
Broadbent.
goes past, at least one intersection passes at Madonna.
They taper it down to like, what is that, Madonna?
Madonna, I think,
Madonna,
right,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
But their traffic study, just to let everybody know, their traffic counts went, I think, all the way here to Canal and back, because they wanted to make sure whatever. At least they were thinking ahead on that, but whatever impacts they do in that little short stretch, it is gonna impact the most, adjacent signals to either side. So they're kind of looking at the whole corridor as far as their traffic model and to see how it all works together.
So we'll do our best, well, we will, now, I shouldn't preface stuff like that. We will keep you abreast of what's going on with this, so I'll plan on sending an email, like a summary email out after that meeting on the 26th with just some bullet points, so you have an idea what's going on.
Mhm.
And we could spend the March meeting, I guess, figuring out an alternate path if this doesn't seem like we're getting the information that we need now.
Peter, is there any additional inputs coming out of that conversation? One of which was, obviously, they're taking the traffic counts. Any additional movement along that corridor related to zoning, rezoning, developments?
In terms of things that are on the docket right now
Yeah.
or coming soon,
Yeah,
the build out of Delta Crest, so we got Bass Pro Shops.
okay,
We've had people, and I was gonna mention this in my update, but
Okay.
we've had people that are looking at the residential properties in the area, southwest corner of Broadbent and West Saginaw.
so how is that getting folded into the conversation? Or is that something that MDOT's aware of?
We've talked generally with them about kind of the scope of what the next few years might look like in that
Okay.
area. So that was a while ago, so I'll make sure that they do know that. I would have, we'd probably just do estimates for, like, for example, if that corner at Broadbent developed, just have to plug some estimates in for what would be there based on current zoning.
And I'm also thinking curb cuts as well, right? Strategically placing those curb cuts so that we
Right.
don't,
Yeah,
I mean, that's part of this project is access management and taking a holistic approach. So I think at MDOT, the township, we're all, trying to get everybody on the same page would be beneficial sooner than later.
yeah.
Okay,
I've shared any modern era traffic studies we've got with them, so at least they have some of that data.
okay,
I know they're doing their own too.
all right.
Yeah, I think the access management is certainly a theme and a goal that came out in working with Doug, and then also, in the local advisory group, the details of which we haven't, of course, fleshed out. We'll need some help with that.
Sure. And at some point, we're gonna ask that team, MDOT, the WSP team to come in and do a little
Yeah,
presentation.
absolutely, for this group and for the board.
Okay, good.
And I would suggest we do that before we do a public meeting, before their public meeting, just so the board and everyone
That's a great
here knows
idea.
what's going on before it goes out to the public.
That's a good idea.
So, we'll bring all that up when we meet with them here in a couple of weeks, if not before.
Is there anybody, I mean, that's great feedback. I mean, any other comments, thoughts for the team? When we meet in a couple of weeks? Anybody else have any comments? Okay. All right, what else, item number 2 under old business, the value planning exercise?
Yeah, so this is something we've been meaning to get back to for a couple months, and it is the discussion surrounding, like, how do we get to a point where a group like this, and it's kind of challenging because you could consider it cart before the horse, or potentially, is how do we, if there are opportunities for improvements alongside this MDOT project, what would those be, and like where are how do we prioritize what that would be on our end? I think in reality, we don't yet know what opportunities there are, and the more we get into it, the less it seems likely that there are significant opportunities for, like piggybacking some kind of public improvement. But while the road's torn up, let's also do this kind of thing. And there just probably aren't gonna be that many, and maybe I'm not, being as optimistic as I should be. But it seems to be pretty limited in scope, like a couple other people have said already. So I wanted to go back to that to at least, it doesn't have to be completely close the door, but at least finalize the conversation so far. So there's a bunch of items in your meeting packet
Mhm.
that are the exercises that Doug has walked us through at a couple meetings. I think it started in August. So, Doug, is there anything you wanted to say to preface or to help the group move along?
Well, once we, as kind of wait to see what the agenda is next week, but the goal is to present, if MDOT gives us the opportunity at the LAG, the local advisory group, or at another time with a separate meeting, say, hey, these are our needs, desire constraints, let's see, and see what they're kind of coming up with, and then see, from there, okay, prioritize that. Of course, the needs are the needs. I mean, those are the ones we really want to get focused on. Then you got your, your desires are, those will be the wish list ones. And I think one of them was bury the utilities, for instance. Let's say, so the Board of Water and Light was there at the meeting. The guy goes, yeah, we can bury them. They're going to be in the road and encased in concrete, and it's going to be, your responsibility to take care of them. So, with all the other storm and everything else so already we kind of think from a cost and everything else lost burying the utilities. But it'll be interesting to see where they figure out to put them. But anyway, so that was kind of one that already went. So that's kind of taking that document and just move it into the next phase and seeing what we can meld in with their plan. That's our goal, but we got to see a sketch from them. We can take that sketch and work this group. I can, take it, mark it up, make a new PDFs. We can send it back, Peter can send it back to MDOT and say, this is what our thoughts are based on what what we see. We can work with them through that. I think it's just a step process.
Have we delivered this to them?
No,
No.
So they have not seen any of this. Do we want to?
Pardon me?
Do we want to give this to them?
You can give it to them. I mean, that's why I kind of typed it up like
Yeah,
that, to
that's what
say,
I
hey,
like
where's, and that's why I was kind of figuring out this next meeting, where are they at?
Yeah.
Are they still just playing with some survey or some traffic modeling and they're not looking at anything yet? Or are they ready for an actual sit down and develop some alternatives? I don't know they're not communicating with us, so we're trying to see where they're at alternative wise.
Yeah, I think we should send it to them to at least start flushing some of these out, because I do know. I think so they see where we're at and help to, as I say, manage some of the expectations.
Mhm.
Of what is at least what's possible or what it's going to take.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. That makes a lot of sense. They've received a survey that we did back in September 23.
yeah, a while back.
So they got that,
Yeah,
but they don't have this, really just this one pager. You're thinking
Yeah,
of,
it's the
right?
2 pages, so the constraints. needs,
Yeah, I mean, I
desires,
can make
and
it
then
larger or
Mhm.
however, but I think if we send it a PDF, they'll be able to read it.
Yeah, you can send the whole little packet, Peter, you're
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to verify we're at a place where we're comfortable with this. I mean, it's
Well,
gone through a couple discussions. We can always add to it.
is there anything coming out of the meeting in December that we want to cross out or add? You mentioned the utility for an example, the underground. I
Yeah,
mean,
just keep
that's-
them in there. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't hurt to have
Doesn't
that.
hurt, right?
Keep everything in there. I mean, right now, everything's in play. I mean, whatever the Board of Water and Light guy said, I mean, he can say what he wants, but it doesn't mean it is doable, but it's just, there's issues with it.
Yeah.
well, I think it is, yeah,
Yes, Kevin?
just, I guess for Fonda's benefit too, this is a
Exactly.
significant item of desire for several of our township board members. It's extraordinarily expensive, and there's not probably, there's definitely not the room in the right of way. So BWL has said, you guys acquire the property, it's a significant amount of property we would have to acquire. So this is one of those things that we're nervous about in terms of like managing expectations and trying to push for varying of the power lines, but also knowing what goes into it. It's a, I mean, Calvin can speak to it. It's not I mean, it's millions of dollars and it's digging up a lot of area and, the space with all the other utilities, water and sewer and storm, it's not gonna be an easy feat. And it would be all at our cost.
Yeah, well, and I'm commenting on what you just said, Brian. It is a desire of many of our board members to have anything going down the cord, have any of the cords and wires and all that stuff buried, but it comes at a cost, and then there's issues. Once they're there, if there's some issue that happens, how do you maintain it? How do you get to them? How do you do that? So I'm glad you're looking at that and having that broader conversation, because that's gonna certainly be of value. The other things are the sidewalks. You know, making sure that there's sidewalks on both sides. That came up in a meeting I was in on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday. I lose track. Maybe it was last week. And so those are things that matter, but people have to understand,
Right.
you know, where you enter and exit with that in terms of the idea, the cost, the maintenance and all of that. So
Yeah.
good job on documenting all of that, and we look forward to further discussions and LBWL hearing from you as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find out who my counterpart is on that team as well. Yeah, it's not a matter of, you know, if we can do it or not. We can do what needs to be done, but it does come with a price. And the price is extremely expensive to do that. And with that expensive price tag, you know, there may not be much of anything left to do anything with. So I think we need to keep everything in perspective. Even though it's on the wish list, we might want to try to quantify that so the public is educated as to how much are we actually talking about for something like this to happen, and as we go forward, that type thing.
The person from Lansing Board of Water and Light that attends is Lucas Hayward.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. They have given some rough
Oh, yeah.
estimates in terms of that area, and if I remember correctly, it was roughly around $4 million, but that didn't count hooking up all the services to buildings. It didn't count restoring all the redoing all the parking lots, that type of thing. So it's likely, when it's all said and done, it's gonna be quite probably double that. I mean, I'm not an expert, but.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of dollar signs.
Yes.
One item that's come up, when they built the interchange up here about 15 years ago, you know, we got the signal on the east side. There's no signal on the west side. And the intent was at some point, MDOT was gonna come back and do the traffic analysis to determine if a signal was warranted there. I gotta believe with everything going on the west side of the highway now, there's gotta be enough traffic. Do we know whatever happened to that? And is that something that would be incorporated into this plan? That configuration would change potentially as part of
Yes, it
this work?
can. I mean, the configuration can change. I mean, we talked about that a little bit at the first value planning session about realigning those ramps.
Yeah,
And actually kind of getting rid of the loop ramp and realigning the, you know, the off and on ramps and trying to actually signalize that in the first place. I mean, that's an option.
that's an option. Safety wise, that's a big problem. I hear it
Yeah.
a lot in the community. On that
Yep.
side, folks coming off the highway trying to turn right. You don't know where you're at. And it's like, why don't we have a light here or something to help with traffic control?
Well, and it could be even depending on how their model works too, because at some point they've got to they have that other. So if you're heading east and you cross paths marketplace.
Yeah.
And you're in the boulevard, well, you gotta turn around somewhere to go back west if you want to turn around. So if that's not signalized, is there gonna be enough gaps with all the traffic for that person to actually turn left? And there's also concerns that if it's a large truck, are you gonna have to have, they call it the loon, but it's extra pavement outside the roadway. Kind of like, a rectangle, it's called a loon. They may have to have one of those and those trucks will move slow. So yeah, so there's a lot of things to look at once they get to this point. Are they thinking all these things through?
Yeah. Sounds like it's on our document here.
Yeah, I think I had something
Yep.
in there for realigning the ramps
Yep,
or
I see
something.
that.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Anything else, any questions from the committee or any other additional feedback, Doug? For us?
No, I don't think so. I've been through that a few times. I think we've covered everything and we've even covered when they go to build a job, different things for construction staging that our concerns are, maintaining traffic, to the businesses and drives and, there's gonna have to be a lot of communication with everybody out there for sure.
100%, that is gonna be.
It'll be a mess.
It's, yeah, that's a costly endeavor in all in itself, the maintenance of traffic. Okay, all right, so Peter, sounds like you got the go-ahead to send that over.
Yep, thank you.
Anything else regarding the old business? Was that, I know that was,
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite frank, there's a lot there. And we've been working on this for a couple of years. You have any additional questions?
No,
Or
I'm
is there
very
any more we can
impressed
do?
with, I love what I call like a little cheat sheet,
Yeah.
sound bites. Really good sound bites. So I love how you captured that. And it sounds like you're moving this right along. This is huge, very huge project.
Right, that is, I mean, this will pave the way for the entire corridor, right? I mean, ideally, long-term,
Yes.
it's gonna go further east, right down to Waverly, so we want to get it right. All right. Thank you all. All right, then with that said, doesn't look like we have any new items, so we'll go down to other business.
Okay, are you out of here, Doug?
Unless you need me.
No, we're good. I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you so
I'd
much.
like to beat the traffic.
Yeah.
You're gonna help us with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Take care of yourselves.
Yeah, we'll see you at the,
We'll see you in a couple weeks.
I'll just run through a couple project updates first and then we can Brian and I can tag team from there. The Delta crossings, there hasn't been anything significantly new on that. We continue to work with the ownership team to try to get them into a shape where we could eventually approve a site plan for Bass Pro Shop. So there are still a lot of things that have to come together that have not happened yet. So that'd be converting or getting the road turned over, Marketplace Boulevard, Northwest Saginaw to Eaton County Road Commission. Hasn't happened. So the site's still being served by private roads. The utilities on site are still private. So getting all those turned over to the township has been an ongoing challenge. So we're working with them to make all that happen. All of that is conditioned. The township will not approve a site plan for the project until those things are done. So the real challenge, not to get too in depth into it, is the ownership that came out of the project. They weren't with it from the beginning. They have been struggling, I think, to kind of take it and run with it. And I think the sense of urgency isn't shared between the township and the current ownership. So I know they inherited some challenges, but they also haven't been helping to resolve them. We are in contact with now the Spirit Realty, that is the company that owns several parcels, but also owns and manages they're the the condo, they are the association, so they own a significant chunk of phase one and retain, have all the common area there. So that was a company that was bought by another company, but this company is in, are they Texas, Florida? They were I thought they were-
Texas
I
or
don't think Texas-
California?
Yeah, oh, they were California, maybe they have members
Are
around.
they Texas?
So we were able to get access to them. And so we have kind of been running point on that since that point. So it's been a couple weeks. And
So
we're
this is
trying
for
to-
phase one?
for phase one and phase two, but which is all leading to, I'll have to get completed before we'll issue any approvals for phase 4A.
I'm
So-
sorry. What's phase one and phase two again?
Phase one, sorry, phase one in a nutshell is like Hobby Lobbies, that multi-center,
All right,
shopping center. Phase two is BJ's.
okay,
And phase three would be the multifamily if they did it
okay.
off of Broadbent there. And then from there, phase 4A is Bass
Yeah,
Pro.
okay.
And then there's more like another couple shopping centers would be 4B, and then 5+ is residential, or like
Yeah.
6+ is residential.
Yeah, I think Dave Peters right. I think phase two is anything basically west of Marketplace.
Gotcha.
Phase one was anything east of Marketplace
Is there anything for the former?
at home.
Yeah.
No.
No
Okay.
updates on that right now. As far as
Okay.
we know, the property is still under litigation
Oh,
for
okay.
that side
Wow.
of it. So it's it adds a complexity in terms of the township getting involved with that. We've been advised
Hmm.
not to get involved at that point, but we'd love for that to get resolved so that we, can deal with it in
Makes
some
sense.
manner. But until, other than, we don't want to be part of the lawsuit. How's that?
Makes sense to me.
Fair enough.
So we would love to get that resolved and, at some point here, but it's challenging right now. So that's the Delta Crossings update. So I'll let you know more when we know more. But the next thing is gonna be Bass Pro Shops. They wanna move like in April. I don't know if that's realistic right now.
Move.
But like
Dirt?
break ground
Break
and
ground in
start
April?
building.
Oh,
Mhm.
is that contingent? I'm sorry, on the other phases? Yeah. Is
Um,
that contingent on phase 2 and
It's
3?
contingent on phase 1 and 2 getting cleaned up with all the things I just mentioned, getting all these utility agreements and everything signed.
Okay.
It's a unique scenario and I think Township did their best, but the property owner sold parcels kind of midstream while all that was happening. So when the property owners changed and then there was the litigation from the previous lawsuit with the previous developer, it complicated things on our end. So we're working with all the right people are at the table. It's just a matter of getting it executed and making sure we're all kind of have a shared goal, which I think we do. It's just a matter of maybe the sense of urgency
Mhm.
in getting it done.
But right now, there's Bass Pro 4A.
It's the only thing on the docket.
It's on the docket,
Yeah.
and all the traffic right now is headed toward M43. There's no other outlets.
The only other outlet, no, it's all Marketplace. It's-
Marketplace.
Yeah, it's like two different drives that head to the Marketplace intersection.
Okay, so there's nothing going right now to Broadbent.
Correct.
That's not in the plans.
Right.
That's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, it's gonna be, it's gonna be, and their traffic study reflects that. It's the level of service at Marketplace in West Saginaw is gonna be tough. It's it's already a failing intersection.
A lot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It just doesn't seem.
There's only so much you can get.
So much you get, yeah, okay. Gridlock.
So, yeah, that's true.
Okey dokey.
So that's the Delta Crossings. There was just in general, it's corridor adjacent. And I think we may have been over the utility project really briefly, just that the township does have dollars and we're working. We have a contractor or a consultant and a contract signed, right, to do the utility work that enables future phases of Delta
Right.
Crossings. But it also potentially unlocks units, in the broad sense, residential units
Mhm.
that were not available before. So like potentially some of these projects on the greenfield sites on the south side of Saginaw, west of Broadbent could be potentially development sites. Even further on Marketplace Boulevard, the Ides own some property on Marketplace around like the courtyard project
Yeah.
that some of us will see tomorrow. So that potentially could spell a relief or at least provide the services, the capacity that we need for some projects in that area to go through. I don't have a round number of X number of units or anything, but. So, I mean, that's a win, but so we have developers kicking tires on a couple of those properties and
Is that the one that Township broke ground on? Is that, or is that something different I'm thinking of? With the water and the sewer?
We have not broken ground on that.
No,
on this project, yeah,
yet.
no.
We have signed the documents and they may be out doing survey or, wetland delineations
Okay.
or those types of things, but yeah, we have not broke ground on that project yet.
No.
But you'll know, cause that'll tie up Willow quite a bit, even though
Okay.
we will be maintaining traffic. A lot of that's gonna be boring, sanitary main in, but there'll be crews out there, on Willow. Up there, so.
But you're saying, Peter, you don't know exactly what's the total impact of this? Of the construction?
Well,
guess I'm
I don't,
confused.
I can't tell you like it'll unlock a specific number of residential units. But we know that we will have capacity
Okay.
for
Right.
developments in that area.
Oh, okay.
Right, it will be able, right.
It really helps, several different sewer districts. So our Willow Lift Station Sewer
Mhm.
District, which is probably the main one where we had no additional capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Our marketplace, so part of the Willow project, we're also relocating the force main for Pepper Ridge. So it'll help with the Pepper Ridge Sewer District as well as that, takes Pepper Ridge off of the marketplace sewer area. So that's what Peter was talking about, like on Marketplace, a lot of the vacant-eyed property that would have, now there'll be capacity in the Marketplace sewer
okay.
district. And then
Okay.
the Pepper Ridge Force Main also takes away some of the what was going into a 15-inch that crosses the freeway. That goes all the way to our Carrier Creek interceptor. So that helps with that sanitary main. And then it also takes some of that burden off of the Carrier Creek because that will now go up to Willow. So it's kind of like five for the hefty price of
Yeah, there's a lot.
one. It does, it helps quite a bit. It doesn't solve all the future problems, but at least for the foreseeable future, it'll open up quite a bit
Right.
of
Okay.
sewer capacity for residential
real good.
For new
development.
development.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so it seems relevant to this group because we will,
Mhm.
properties up front on West Saginaw might see some action. The last thing, and some of you know this from your other roles in the township, but the board did approve a zoning amendment to remove self-storage facilities from commercial zoning districts. So most of West Saginaw is commercial zoning.
Mhm.
And what this does effectively remove that use as allowed commercial. So we got, I think, 3 or 4 existing ones on West Saginaw.
Mhm.
So there will not be any more.
Mhm.
And the reason, to me, the reason that's important is the type of land use that the storage facilities represent. And especially for this group, it doesn't really align with kind of the land use goals for the community and for West Saginaw. So, in a nutshell, storage facilities are, they're kind of dark uses in terms of they're not active. But the other problem is they're very lucrative for real estate investors so they're easy to build.
Mhm.
So that's I've seen, we get a lot of calls in the planning office. When I worked in East Lansing, we got a lot of calls. That's like one of the in things to throw some money at. But then the community stuck with them forever. So I think it's good for the corridor and really kind of what hits home the most is the Delta Crossings on one of their concept plans had, like one of the phases has storage in it. So that will no longer be allowed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then some of the other properties along the corridor that are potentially vulnerable for that wouldn't have, that would no longer be a threat. So hopefully it helps the quality of the projects we get in the future to not have that be a component of it. So that's just a quick policy update.
Thank you.
On that, a couple other things, not a lot of new construction since the last time we've talked. We had just a couple changing things. Not right on the corridor, but corridor to Delta is now open, so south of Walmart on Marketplace Boulevard. In fact, they're having like a public ribbon cutting tomorrow. So that's good, not too far up the corridor. So Anna's, we got a couple of restaurants that are kind of still out there. Anna's House, they were in our building department recently, getting an interior demo permit to start working in that space, so. Don't know what that's actually done yet or not, but they're working, so that's a long time coming.
Yeah, it is.
Like that new Pizza Hut, you probably saw the sign on the Pizza Hut go up, but it's only takeout, so.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, are they open? The mayor says they're open today.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's your chance.
Serving people out the door, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, on the way home.
Exactly. I wouldn't go today. But it sounds good now.
Yeah, it does sound
I am
good.
starving.
The work at Horrocks continues. They got walls up now on the new bathroom building over there, so that's good. And then they're still working inside on the coffee sales and moving their pizza and gelato stuff around. Dick's Warehouse is gonna be called Going, Going, Gone, so look for those sign changes soon and just remember it's still Dick's. Taco Bell's getting like a half, the reason I mention it is, it's the little stuff like this, that if you watch, like I watch our building permits, like the queue of stuff that comes in. There's an interior exterior model of our Taco Bell, so it's like $500,000 and
Yeah.
Taco Bell, that's a good sign. But, I guess, depending on your perspective,
Absolutely.
good for Delta, bad for society, I don't know.
We just had that conversation over the weekend with the kids. Look, Taco Bell.
Yeah, those are the big ones. We had the redevelopment of the gas station over here, so just two buildings down at 7404 West Saginaw. It's a Shell station. They call them Easy Marts in this area. Is, the planning commission has seen it, the board will see it at their next meeting, but they're redeveloping that gas station here. It's been pretty bad shape. Got an old dilapidated car wash. So they have not come, they've been in limbo because their owners are busy, but they're coming to the board now. And on whatever that meeting is, the 17th. Yeah, next Monday.
Be great.
So you saw Detroit Wing Company close. They were on the west side of the highway. I mean, we had a lot of wing places. So they had told.
Yes, we did.
The wing capital.
Yeah.
And I
We all
think
came out at
Detroit
the
Wing
same
was
time.
company-wide. I think
Yeah, I
other
think
other
close to like-
locations
Yeah.
is all
Yeah.
closed.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think they went out everywhere.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Expensive.
Wendy, so I would mention closings because they're
Yeah.
also, Wendy's closed at far though, so all the way over by Waverly, that location had closed. On the
Wow.
north side there, close to Waverly. And I think that guy owned several Wendy's in the area and they all closed.
Real small.
I mentioned that. So Board and Brush over here at Brookside Drive closed. So that was a place where you could go paint
Oh,
wood and have wine. They ended up closing. And Great Clips was a salon over on one of the shopping centers here closed too. So that's a Lisa project update. Any questions on that stuff for now?
Just one. You mentioned the Shell station and the school next door to it. Do you know if there's a traffic study going on regarding that parking lot?
There's not,
It's the Wyndham Arts
the
Center.
school, there's not this one, there's not.
That down here?
The Shell
The
station
Shell
is just immediately, so that immediately east of Horrocks is a Burger King. Immediately east of that is the gas station that's
Okay.
being,
Okay,
yeah, so there's no school around this one.
okay. I guess I'm thinking of the Wyndham school or whatever that's down there, close to the gym.
That's further down.
That's further down, yeah, okay.
Across Waverly.
Yeah.
And that's Lansing,
Yeah.
Libby Lansing.
Okay, oh, yeah, Lance, you got it.
Yeah.
Township, right?
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
Yeah.
Down by Rosemary Street.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Lansing Township, yeah.
Was a traffic study for that area?
Oh.
So those are all the big updates for
Thank you.
us, unless anyone has any questions.
Oh,
wasn't there drain, the drain work? The tri-county drain?
Yeah, they're in that process has started.
They're gonna be, they're gonna be opening bids. That project is out to bid, I believe. And they're gonna be opening bids on March 6th.
Okay,
So that project is being bid out in 5 or 6 chunks. So they're putting them all out right now. And then first on the list is gonna be the demo of the old Rafferty
high school,
banks.
gotcha,
Yeah, so that will likely start demolition in June.
okay,
So that will also be a staging area for the project.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So they have started doing some tree clearing along the route.
Hmm.
So Supervisor Brewer's already been getting some
I
calls.
bet. I bet.
So yeah,
That's a big project, that's gonna affect a lot of people, I mean, you know, I mean, that's a big,
it's a huge project
Mhm.
and
Affects a lot of people.
we're bracing ourselves because I know we're gonna be getting a lot of phone calls.
I see, that's a big one,
So
yeah, I feel for you. That's not.
If any of you are approached on it, there is a website. It's
Okay.
bankdrain.org. So
Thank
it's
you.
not a township project. It's a Eaton County.
Right.
It's actually a bank drain district project. So it's not even just Eaton County.
Bankdrain.org,
Bankdrain.org.
okay,
So they've got information and timelines or will, you know.
thank
Sure.
you.
They've got information out there and you can sign up for a monthly newsletter and notifications. So definitely push people in that direction so they're getting the info. And we link to it in our newsletter and all that fun stuff too, so.
and we'll continue to have, we'll have updates on that project because given it affects the east side of the corridor. So it is something that is very pertinent to this group.
Sure.
To just know what's going on, and it's gonna be a 3-year project, so it'll go for a while, and
Absolutely. Anything on the Kreitz and Saginaw? The Viet champion, all that vacant land.
No,
Nothing
no,
more.
I mean, we've been approached from people that, you know, kick the tires on that site for development, but nothing
Okay,
at all. And
yeah, surprisingly, you know, for compared to a lot of other properties, as Peter says, we get approached a lot, but they're not usually super serious, so price must still be high enough on that where it's
not feasible.
we're not really
Yeah.
getting a lot of movement,
Okay.
you know, for serious inquiries.
Got great access though.
Oh, yeah, it's a
That's
great.
It's a beautiful
Great.
piece of property.
It's buildable too, right? I mean, it's ready to go.
Some of it
Somewhat.
yeah, it's a
Stable.
floodplain.
is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a, I think it's a, I think it's like
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's 105 acres or might be more than that. I mean, it's a significant amount of property. There is some that's in floodplain and not buildable, yeah, it's a good piece of property. It will be developed at some point. It's just kind of surprising to me that it's taken a while.
Crazier things have happened. All
Yeah.
right, so for this group, this committee, really our number one priority is still the 96 to broadband, right? That's where our focus should be right
So
now.
far, yeah, it
Right.
really is. And it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Now,
So I really hope, I know there hasn't been a lot of really substantive things to talk about with that yet, but it's like Doug said earlier, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna happen and it's gonna happen too fast when it does. So we're doing our best to stay on top of it.
okay. Well, we appreciate it. Is there anything else?
Nothing on our end.
Anything else from anyone else?
yeah, this is good.
Appreciate it.
Public comment?
Anything? Good, okay. Well, with that said, we will move to adjourn the meeting at 4:54. Anybody? All right, all in favor?
Uh,
All right,
Aye.
thank you very much.
Thank you.